This episode of Video Marketing Madness is made possible by Aweber. Aweber is the easy way to do email marketing, newsletters, and collect leads. If you want to learn more about email marketing and start collecting leads and build a list right now, then head on over to raythevideoguy.com/Aweber. There you go. And on today's show, we're going to do some myth busting on YouTube.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
It's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. You can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/video marketing madness. Follow us on Twitter at video MKT madness. Get plenty of useful tips and news of the week. All kinds of good stuff there.
Yes, indeed. We love that stuff.
We love that stuff. So how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. It's beautiful weather out here. We finally got some rain, and things are looking good.
In drought-stricken California, how much rain did you get?
Right. Actually, I don't know exactly, but it was actually quite a bit. It rained really hard for an entire day.
Oh, wow.
And so things are looking a little greener, which is awkward because, here where I am, I'm in a little town called Lake Elsinore or Canyon Lake. And for whatever reason, this is like the little dry epicenter around here. Oh. And oftentimes when we get rain around Lake Elsinore and some of the other areas like Murrieta and Temecula, we often don't get it here. But we got hit pretty good the other day. And a few days before that, those other towns got hit pretty well when we did not. So hopefully we're starting to build back some of that moisture, and things will be looking up a little bit here.
Lake Elsinore, famous for that one girl that spit on the donuts.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, she licked the donuts.
Licked the donuts, that's right, and said she hates America.
That would be Ariana Grande, I believe is how she's pronounced. Ariana Grande.
I never heard of her before that.
The name kind of sounded familiar, but I couldn't have, I might have guessed she was a singer, but other than that, I had no idea. But I did notice the other day on one of the awards shows that she was listed as one of the either performers or presenters on the Grammys or the, I don't know, whatever awards show recently happened. She was one of the acts on there. So
no matter where she goes now, she's going to have to bring donuts.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think anyone else will eat them, but if Ariana Grande brings donuts to your party, I would stay away.
Stay away from them. Well, hey, I got some news of the week, so let's get into that.
Excellent. Let's do it.
News of the week. Okay, first story is from The Verge.
The Verge.
TheVerge.com. Video game streaming service Twitch is ditching Flash and switching to HTML5.
Yay! Thank goodness. That's a smart move, I would think.
Yeah, Flash is really becoming elderly.
It is, and there's been actually a few different articles lately that have talked about the quote-unquote death of Flash, and I really do think it is, at least as far as video goes, I think it is on the verge of death. For a number of reasons. Obviously, people don't like to use Flash on their websites anymore due to SEO purposes and things like that and compatibilities, but the Flash video is definitely on a big downtrend.
Well, and YouTube dropped it, and then Facebook.
Well, they kind of dropped it. They actually still use it in a lot of cases.
Oh, do they? I thought it was all HTML5, but they still.
Some of that, most of it is. There's still some weird. I don't know if it's just older videos or certain things that still show up in Flash from YouTube, so that it still kind of lingers there a little bit, but it's definitely, mostly gone, which is good.
And then Facebook's chief security officer called for its execution. And
why do I picture like a guy on the Enterprise, the chief security officer.
Octoon, we will execute Flash, and you will like it. It just hasn't had an excellent safety record, and a lot of bugs have been unearthed. The hacking team found a bunch of stuff in July, and so everybody's
Yeah, and even Adobe, even though it seems that they put an update out for Flash like every 10 minutes, according to all the pop-ups I get, but it just seems like they haven't really done anything with it in a while, other than just minor security updates and things like that. So I think they know it's pretty much dead, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them coming out with a Flash-like tool for creating the HTML5 stuff. And somebody's probably going to write to me and go, "Hey, moron, they already do."
yeah, they do. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see that, because the Flash program is actually pretty good, and the animation you can do with it and things like that are actually very nice. It's just the actual Flash video and some of the other things that they don't make sense anymore in this day and age.
Well, and then they supposedly they got some security problems too. So
yeah, and the thing is if you want to have a fun website with some animation and stuff, you can do it with anything now. In fact, I'm currently working on a new program that will allow you to add animation to any website. And it's a very, very slick program. I am not a programmer or a coder, so I'm the marketing and training side of it all. But yeah, very, very good stuff, and very excited about it. So
you're not a programmer, but you have a pocket protector.
yes.
Just say yes. Humor me. Okay, this is from marketingland.com. YouTube's top 100 brands report, monthly views up 55% for branded content.
Nice.
Top 100 brands, the views have doubled during the last year.
That's interesting to note.
Yeah. Pixability ran a study. According to the data, branded content has generated more than 40 billion views over all time, with 18 billion of those views coming in the last year.
I'm not surprised. I believe I read a stat this morning that a cat video is uploaded to YouTube once every minute.
I'd rather have monkey videos.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is. Why cats are so much more interesting.
Cat's
than
a
other
big
animals,
deal.
but,
I know.
Very, very big on YouTube. And oddly, in that same article, and I wish I had it in front of me here so I could read the actual statistics, but as we saw right before the show, finding things I had opened earlier is not always the easiest task for me. But there was another one. It talked about how much content there is on YouTube specific to makeup tips.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like in the millions of videos. It was just crazy how much that is. And of course, we saw the article from earlier this year about the one girl who just made millions and millions off of her makeup tips, and got sponsored and everything else. So it's amazing some of the things that are out there.
I was doing videos about makeup tips, but nobody watched them.
I can't imagine why.
I have a face for radio.
Yes.
10% of brand videos are over 10 minutes long.
That's another interesting thing that they brought up. In fact, one of the I don't know if it'll really be one of the actual myths that we bring up, but one myth that I was looking at talked about that specifically, in that one of the myths being all videos on YouTube are short content videos. And of course, the reality is there's a lot of much longer content.
Well, if you're interested in something like how to do something, 10 minutes is fine. But it's just, do you have an interest in the content?
Yeah. And we've seen that in many of our things. When we were doing a lot of bankruptcy law, we found that, some of our videos, because they had pertinent information, tended to be longer. They weren't 30-second videos. They were 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes long, and they got great views. They got long views. People wanted the information, and so they watched it. So when you have their attention, they'll watch it. It's just a matter of making sure that you've got their attention.
That's right. Well, and the old start off by saying who you are, give your credentials, and here's what I'm going to show you. That's always a good way to do that. Or animation.
Yeah.
Or other stuff.
Indeed.
Brand channel subscriptions up 47% year over year.
That's interesting as well.
Yeah.
You know, they've put a lot of effort into the channels over the last 2 years or so because people weren't really using them. So that's actually a great statistic to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, let's see more stats that just came out. Now, this is coming from Real SEO. There's someplace in here where it's attributed, but anyhow, um, I think this comes from YouTube. Huge increase in session watch time. Watch time has increased 60% year over year. That makes sense. The average YouTube session on mobile is now 40 minutes.
Wow, that's quite interesting. I guess it's not really that surprising to me though, and I would love to know what they classify as mobile.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
because I mean, my kids, if allowed, would sit on the iPad and watch YouTube for hours. So if they're counting that kind of stuff, then I'm not surprised at all.
Well, and I've got a Samsung Droid and a Samsung uh, big screen TV or whatever you call it.
Right.
And I can play my YouTube videos on there. I just hit a little button that shares it, and we watch YouTube videos on the TV. That would be considered mobile, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure. I think specifically they're talking about mobile devices, but I don't know if that would count or not. I mean,
Well,
I would imagine it might.
that's my tablet, you know. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah, you know, I
So I would imagine if that's the source of it, I would imagine that's the case. But who knows?
yeah. I
Who
was
knows?
I was thinking of smartphones, but it's probably tablets as well.
I would think so. I would think so.
On mobile, YouTube attracted more viewers in the 18 to 49 demos than any of the U.S. cable networks.
Well, that with The Walking Dead being off for the season right now, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. YouTube's got more than 1 billion active users.
That's quite interesting. Actually, well, that actually is really interesting. I don't think they've ever reported 1 billion before, have they? It's always been like 750 million, that kind of thing. So that's wow, that's actually quite shocking. I remember Facebook had hit 1 billion back last year,
Yeah.
and then YouTube surpassed them. So I guess maybe they were already at 1 billion. So I don't know. Well, I guess when YouTube surpassed them, it was traffic, not necessarily users per se.
Users,
So
okay.
it was most visited site. So that's interesting. That's good to hear.
Yeah, all these stats are coming basically from Google. Okay. There's another one here. Oh, yeah. The number of YouTube megastars earning six figures has increased by 50%.
Nice. That's very interesting to note.
Maybe I should do cat videos.
Maybe.
Yeah. You got any news?
Well, no, I think we should just get right into it here.
And now for something completely different.
Okay, so YouTube myth busting, huh?
That's right. We're going to bust a few myths here. We don't have Adam Savage with us, but we're going to bust a few myths anyway. A few of them are kind of minor myths, but some of them are actually pretty interesting things. And it's stuff that people ask me about YouTube all the time, stuff that people teach that might be incorrect, and just a few other tidbits that people don't often realize about YouTube and YouTube videos, or maybe things they're doing that maybe they shouldn't be doing that's actually hurting them.
Yeah.
So there you go. So the number one myth that I want to talk about, and this is actually an interesting one because I've kind of argued back and forth on this, but YouTube has come out and specifically talked about this one. And this is the idea that naming your file name before you upload a video makes a difference to your SEO. Now, there are some people claiming it does, and some people claiming it doesn't. So, Steve, what do you think of that?
Well, I always upload mine as private, so I guess it wouldn't make a difference there. I could rename it, but I always name my file names the title, the SEO title, just
I
to
do
save
too.
time. But I don't know that
Yeah.
it makes a difference, does it?
Well, according to YouTube themselves, it does not.
Okay.
And according to some people that have done studies, it does not as well. Now, I used to actually tell people to do this because, in my opinion, how can it not help at least a little bit? I mean, that file is literally there on that page, and it's got the keyword. But according to YouTube, it does not make any difference for your SEO. However, I will say this. When this was first brought up back a while ago, and it was actually the guys at Real SEO who talked about this, I brought up a different point that wasn't necessarily about SEO. And this had to do with when I upload a video with a file name that's the keyword, I've found that even before I do any work on it, if I just let it go as that the related videos tend to know what that file name was, and they post related videos that match that file name.
Yeah.
So clearly something is going on there. Whether it will help your SEO, apparently it does not. But you know, the algorithms are noticing that it's there in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But as far as that, the fact that naming your file as your SEO keyword, getting you better rankings, well, apparently that one is busted. And test after test has shown that it really does not have an SEO factor. However, that could change tomorrow. And it's actually, like you said, when you name your file with your keyword, well, then it automatically populates in the title. And so it saves you a little bit of time anyway. Plus, it's better for organization on your hard drive before you upload it and when you need to access it later. So you certainly probably still should name your file name with your keyword, but apparently it does not make a difference to your SEO.
Okay. I guess that doesn't surprise me. I still do it, though.
Yeah, and I do too, because heck, why not? You know, but I would love to hear what everyone else has to say. So, of course, please feel free to tweet at us or visit us on the Facebook page and post your opinion on that, whether you've seen any evidence that your YouTube SEO is better if you name your file with your keyword. So I'd love to hear your opinions on that one. Okay, so now here's another one that actually gets a little bit more serious. And the reason I say serious is because this one actually deals with something that not only do people do because they believe it helps, but it actually could be a violation. So it's not just something that may or may not work. It may actually hurt you. Now, the interesting thing about this one is when you do it, it actually does provide you with an SEO benefit. However, it is technically against YouTube's terms of service. And what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about taking all those keyword tags and putting them in your description.
Yeah.
So in other words, you've got your video uploaded, you write a little description, and then you just put a big, long list of tags in the description itself. That actually can help you to rank pretty quickly. But it is actually against YouTube's terms of service to do that.
I stay away from it.
Yeah, and it's you know, I haven't heard of anybody getting really slapped for doing it, but it is actually against the terms of service. And if you're doing it for yourself or for a client, you could be putting yourself into some trouble at some point in time. So it's something that a lot of people like to do. In fact, in the old days, people used to just upload a video and then just put a list of keywords as the description and hit go. And it helped. It definitely made you rank, but it can actually cause you harm because it is against YouTube's terms of service. And you can check that out, by the way, if you want to learn more about what YouTube has to say about any of this stuff. You can head on over to raythevideoguy.com/YT playbook. And that will send you directly to the latest version of the YouTube playbook, which will give you all the information about what you should and shouldn't be doing, some of which, you know, could actually cause a lot of harm. And sadly, this is one of them.
Well, and you know, it just takes somebody reporting a concern to get banned.
Yeah, I mean, you know, think about it this way. I've had videos reported just because they were ranking well and competition didn't like it. Well, imagine if competition to one of your clients doesn't like the fact that your video is ranking well, they report it, and YouTube sees that you're doing that because they're taking a closer look. Well, now when you say, hey, I haven't done anything wrong, well, guess what? They can come back and say, yes, you have.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
there you go.
Good point.
All right, now for myth number 3. This one deals with thumbs up, thumbs down, or no thumbs at all. The question is, if you get more thumbs up, are you going to get a better YouTube ranking? What do you think of this one?
Well, it doesn't hurt. I've got it set up so when somebody does that, I get backlinks.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's a slightly different topic which we can talk about here as well. But the bottom line is that thumbs up by themselves, in other words, my video's got 10 thumbs up, yours has 5.
Yeah, it's not going to make a
really
difference.
doesn't have much of an effect on your rankings. However, your first answer, Steve, was actually probably the best one, which was the why not sort of answer. And the reason for that is because when somebody thumbs up your video, well, guess what happens? A person that likes your video, their followers might see the what to watch next in their video suggestions. And so by you giving a thumbs up to my video, some of your subscribers might then see my video and go and watch it. So there is a great viral effect for adding those thumbs up. However, there's no actual correlation to them giving you a better ranking on YouTube, believe it or not.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other thing, there used to be another myth about whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down doesn't matter because it's interaction. And that, to an extent, is actually true. Whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it does get attention to that video, but probably is not going to help or hurt your ranking, according to studies.
Okay.
So there is a direct benefit, but it's not an SEO benefit. However, let me clarify one thing on this too. By having these thumbs up, you probably can, in a roundabout sort of way, end up with better rankings. But it would be related to the fact that other people are watching your video and things of that nature.
Okay.
Okay. So now here's another one. Steve, what do you think? Do you think older videos or newer videos rank better?
Older?
Well, the bottom line is neither. There's actually no correlation to the age of the video and how well it will rank. Now, again, this is a bit of a gray area because obviously an older video has had a lot of time to get views, build up view time, get a lot of people's attention, get a lot of people to click on it so that it actually can rank better for those reasons. However, if you've got two videos, one's old and one's new, there is nothing that makes an older video rank better than a newer video.
All things being equal. And the only thing I was thinking about was videos that I put up before Panda.
Yep.
Are I was able to do some things back then, and a lot of them are still there that I just can't do anymore. Without a ton more resources. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why and it doesn't have to do with the age per se. It has more to do with what's happened because it's been around longer.
Yeah.
So there is an indirect effect to that. However, don't be afraid of, oh, gee, this video's been up for 5 years. I can't get ahead of it. That's actually not true. I've had brand spanking new videos with 0 views that have actually outranked older videos that had some pretty good amount of views.
Well, if it's optimized correctly,
yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, optimized correctly, got some good backlinks, good views. Yeah.
Yep. But the bottom line is there's no actual correlation as to which will help you to rank better.
Yeah.
However, it is good to have because of all the cachet you can get off of that. All right. So number 5. This is our big number 5.
Five.
Views. Do views affect how your video ranks?
The right views, yes.
The actual answer is no.
No, really? Okay,
the actual answer is no.
Okay. We had talked to Curtis Melanson.
Yes.
About, how they get videos to rank is they have an army of folks who will go out and search on that term. Now it's ranking already. Okay, it's ranking
ranking a little bit, yeah.
And they'll go find it and they'll watch it and leave a comment on it. Well, that's a view and a comment.
Yep.
And again, it's got to be ranking already somewhere in Google.
Sure.
So does that help?
Well, and again, this is one of those gray area types of things. But in actuality, the number of views really don't make a difference either way.
How about in YouTube?
In YouTube or in Google itself.
Oh, see, I always thought I always thought it made a difference in YouTube, but not so much Google.
Well, let me tell you why.
Okay.
The reason is back in the old days, they used to have an algorithm that was all about views. If you had 1,000 views and another guy had 500 views, you're probably going to be ahead of them, assuming other things are equal. However, because of all the cheating that was going on with people buying all sorts of views, I mean, back in the old days, we used to use websites like YouTube.me or whatever the heck it was,
and they'd ping it.
things like that.
Yeah, a
And
ping.
they would basically just send, boom, boom, boom. They would just hit the video and you'd have 10,000 views by the next morning and your video would be number one. Well, of course, YouTube has cracked down big time on that. And what they've gone to is a session time system.
Oh,
And this is something that Daryl Eves talked about when he was on with us back a while ago.
that's right.
And what that means is rather than 1,000 views beating 100 views, what it has to do with is if 100 people view one video and then stay on YouTube for a half hour, that is far more valuable than 1,000 views at 30 seconds each.
Yeah.
And the reason is because obviously YouTube wants people on YouTube. So the length of the view, and it's not so much, one of the other kind of myths was that, oh, well, gee, if people only watch 50% of your video, it's going to hurt your video. And that's not really true. Because if they come to your video, watch half of it, and then go to one of your other videos and then stay on YouTube for 10 minutes, your video gets a session time of 10, 11 minutes, which is really good. So a lot of it is about that session time more than the actual raw number of people that view your video. And so that's something that we want to really pay attention to. So getting people to come to your video on YouTube and then stay on YouTube can actually have a big positive effect on your videos. Now, obviously, if you've got a 2-minute video and a 1-minute video, and each has 100 full views, the one with two minutes should outrank the one with 1 minute because people stayed on for 2 minutes each time. So there's a lot to do with how long they stay on YouTube versus the actual just a view itself. So that's kind of one of the big surprise ones for people that, in some of the Mythbuster things, they basically say, oh, views don't actually matter. Well, they do matter, but just the sheer number of views, not necessarily.
Okay.
Because if you've got 1,000 views at 1 second apiece, they are absolutely useless.
That makes a ton of sense.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep. So it's all about that session time. So those are my 5 myths about YouTube that may surprise a few people. Again, I would love to hear what you have to say about this. So please head on over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/video marketing madness, or hit us up on Twitter, which our Twitter is video MKT madness. And you can tell us what you think about some of these myths and maybe some of the other myths that you've heard in the past. So Steve, what are some of the myths that you may have heard or things you've heard about YouTube that you're not really sure of?
Well, the first thing that the first thing that I brought up after you mentioned the views is actually going and searching on the term in Google, finding the video, watching the video, and making a comment. Does that make a difference?
As far as we can tell, it does.
Okay.
Again, I don't know if there's been any official Google type statements on that, but we have seen with as few as just a handful of people doing that very quickly the video rises. Now, again, we're talking about SEO here, so there could be 20 other factors going on that maybe you're not aware of that have made a difference, but it definitely seems like that does make some sort of a difference in the rankings. And, we've tested that a few times and seen jumps in the rankings from that.
I think social media backlinks make a difference.
I would definitely agree with you on that. Now, as far as, for instance, on Facebook or on Twitter, if you just say, hey, check out my video and put a link, chances are that's not going to have a direct effect on the rankings, other than maybe people will click on it, watch, and you'll get kind of that side benefit that will help your rankings. But according to Google themselves, there's just too much going on Twitter and Facebook for them to index any of that. So they would never even see that backlink from a Facebook post or from a Twitter, a tweet. So that may help you indirectly, but probably isn't going to help you directly just because of that factor that they can't keep up with that too.
So all those social media backlinks I'm doing doesn't do any good.
Oh no, they do a lot of good. They do a lot of good, but I would think that the individual Twitter posts, the tweets,
Oh,
probably
oh,
wouldn't.
oh, I see
But
what you
for
mean.
instance, putting it on Dig, putting it on Diego, putting it on all of those social bookmarking sites, absolutely 100% proven every time has a huge effect on your rankings on Google.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I did a study with a video that was not showing up on Google at all. It had been up for about a week and a half, had not shown up on Google 10, 20 pages back. I couldn't find it. I couldn't figure out why. And then I went and looked at OnlyWire and realized I had never put it through OnlyWire
Mhm.
through all those social bookmarks. I ran it through OnlyWire, and 5 minutes later, it was number one on page one.
Well, here's what I find works out pretty well for me. I put up a video, I optimize it properly. Once I have it all optimized properly, I take it from private to public.
Right.
I ping it. I do buy a few views,
Ooh.
AdWords views,
Oh, okay.
um, and just because, and then I put it on OnlyWire. And if I see that it's not ranking where I want it after a few days, then I'll use Social Bookmark Commando,
Nice.
and that gives me about four. It out of the 701, I get about 400 backlinks out of it. And for what I'm doing, that works well. Now, my strategy with the attorneys is I'm going to get you found all over in a bunch of different places. And for a personal injury attorney, if you get a handful of calls a year off of this, you're doing pretty well. But also, I'm going to include citations on everything I do, and I'm going to backlink your website on everything I do with the videos. And what I've noticed is that seems to help either get their Google My Business or their website, more so Google My Business on page one where it wasn't there before, for that keyword term. And they're somewhat non-competitive keyword terms. So dog bite lawyer, Lake Elsinore, California.
Right.
Okay. So I'm able to get that video on page one, but then I notice I also move their Google. I get them in the 7-pack on Google My Business. Now the 7-pack thing I haven't. That's somewhat anecdotal, but I'm just noticing that. Geez, I didn't see all these Google My Places listings before, and now I'm looking at them and they're there. And I really should hard track that to see if it's working. Does that make sense? What I just said?
I think so. Yeah.
And Google's always said, well, those citations don't make any difference. And I know I'm being very anecdotal, but I think it does.
You know, it's tough to say. I haven't really played around with that in quite a while. In the old days, we saw that it definitely made a difference.
Yeah.
And they were claiming back then that it didn't. So it's tough to say, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't in some way make a difference.
And what I'm doing for the attorneys is I'm saying, hey, for this low price, I'll get you all over, and there'll be decent keywords. Now, if you want to be on page one with a video for personal injury attorney, Chicago, Illinois, that might be possible, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. I'm doing something for them that's got a tremendous cost benefit. Instead of making it personal injury attorney, Chicago, Illinois, I'm dog bite attorney or brain injury attorney, Naperville, Illinois. And they're getting some calls off that. Is their phone ringing off the hook? No. Is there a cost benefit because of what I'm charging for it and how quickly I'm able to do it? Yes.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
That's definitely good.
Yeah. So I got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but sometimes, and it's good to have these myths debunked, because sometimes things that you're seeing anecdotal is just that, it's anecdotal. So you just got to keep that in mind.
Oh, sure. And it's all a matter of you still do a lot of the things we're talking about, unless we're talking about the things that can actually hurt you, because there are side benefits to all that. Getting the views, there's going to be the side benefit of, you know, here's the thing: getting 1,000 views at 1 minute a piece, even on a 5 minute video, you're still getting 1,000 minutes there, and that adds up. So there's definitely a benefit to that. So I don't want people to think, oh, well, gee, I don't need a lot of views.
Yeah, okay.
Because getting a lot of views is still helpful. It's just not. The number of views itself is not the criteria that they're really going with as far as getting you to rank better. So
well, and
that's the big thing.
And I'm always careful not to buy more views than. I mean, if there's 10, 10 views a month, I mean that.
No, you know what? On the AdWords thing, I mean, whatever you can pay for that they'll do. I mean, that's not going to hurt you at all. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah.
If they're getting you views out of that, absolutely. I mean, if you can get 1,000 views out of that, heck, do it. Even if it doesn't seem, because you're not doing anything wrong, you're advertising to people who are finding it and actually going to the video. So it's not, there's no chicanery going on there. That's real, actual people that are looking for that going to it. So that actually is quite helpful.
Plus, you're giving some money to Google. Not that they care that much about your $5, but it's still $5.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we pay nothing to use it, so we might as well give them back somehow, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Those are some of the myths that we have about YouTube that, I would imagine some of those probably surprise some people.
Yeah, a couple did me. Yeah,
That's good.
And I try not to believe what I want to believe, so I'll remember that. It's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. Today's show made possible by Aweber. Aweber is, of course, the easy way to do email marketing, build lists, send out newsletters, and all that other great email goodness. And you can learn more about Aweber and even start with $1 by heading on over to raythevideoguy.com/Aweber. And then we've got a Facebook page and we've got a Twitter page. Facebook is Video Marketing Madness. Twitter is at Video MKT Madness. I post stuff there every day. I post
Nice.
do about 5 posts on Facebook and 10 on Twitter, and it's all good, useful information. And you can communicate to us there as well. You can send us direct messages and what's the @ at Video Marketing Madness, and put a message in there too, the public message.
Absolutely.
And you can post on our wall on Facebook. So good for that.
Indeed. Yes, sir.
There you go. There's another
all
show.
That great stuff. Another show in the can, and we're excited for it. And we hope that you'll come back next week to learn even more about all this great video marketing stuff that we talk about at Video Marketing Madness. And so join us again next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Steve, have a great week.
Okay, you too, Batman.
All right.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.